Hello everyone, my name is Nisha and I am the YogicAmnesiac. Today it's super rainy and cold and it actually is, it's raining right now. It had stopped for a bit, so it's super dark in here too. And I decided let's do a practice that's gonna warm us up and maybe give us a little bit energy because today is super dreary. As you can see, I'm rocking my rainy day messy bun hairstyle, so. Today's practice is going to be super simple, short, sweet, nothing too extravagant. So if you're a beginner, don't feel scared. It's gonna be really accessible to everyone, and if you're more advanced, I will offer alternate versions of most of the poses that we'll be doing, if not all of them. No, just most of them. So this should be really fun. I'm really excited to do this one, and as a lot of people I'm sure know, but maybe not everyone, the core is more than just your abs. It involves your back and your pelvis and these big muscles that run through your pelvis, which is, you know, the bone at the bottom of your torso that your legs are attached to. So let's get through and let's do this. Let's have a lot of fun, and you're always welcome to take a break from any of the poses if you are feeling a little fatigued or anything like that. So today's practice is going to be completely on the floor. It's raining super hard outside, so maybe you can hear it. So let's get our juices flowing and jump into this. So like I said, Sukhasana, my favorite. You can do whatever seated position you'd like. Doing this kneeling might be sort of hard, but you're welcome to try, especially if sitting cross-legged is uncomfortable for you. Totally feel like you can kneel. You might need to play around with how you're sitting, if you're sitting on a block or a bolster or something. So just get comfortable, and if you need to adjust later, that's totally fine. But I'm going to start with my right leg in front, my left leg behind. And since we're doing a core yoga practice, the best way to start is to warm up our core a little bit. So as always, it's really raining. We'll take a moment to just sit here, relax, sit up straight. Think about why we're doing core yoga today. All right. So if you'd like to keep your eyes shut, you absolutely can. What we're going to do is plant our right hand on the ground just off of our right hip, and we'll bring our left hand with our palm facing up and overhead as we slowly lean to the right, and you may start sliding your right hand out farther away from your hip. And this will get you into a nice side stretch. You'll feel the left side of your body really stretch out, open up. Be mindful that your left butt cheek or your left sit bone is not coming off the ground. If you want to move around a little bit, absolutely do that. You might get a nice little stretch. We're going to be using a lot of muscles today, so make sure you're warming them up, stretching them out nicely. All right, we'll push into that right hand, come up straight, release that left hand down. And we'll do the same thing on the other side. If you're sitting cross-legged, maybe now would be a good time to switch it up, put your left leg in front, or whichever leg you had in front, switch them. So we'll plant the left hand on the ground, off the left hip this time. Bring the right hand with the palm facing up and overhead. And you could slide that left hand out to get a deeper stretch. You know, some people can even put their elbows on the floor. You can also use a block for this pose. So if you're kneeling, you might want to find a block or some books to put your hand on. That might really help you. Feel that stretch right side of the body. Sometimes I can feel it all the way from my hip up to my little finger. Again, you can move a little bit. Find a little movement, stretch out all those big muscles we're going to be using. Just warming up our sides a little bit. And push into that left hand, come on up, release that right hand down. All right, just to further warm up, we'll release our legs and we're gonna do some seated twists. We did these in the last video, but I'll talk you through them again. So you can bring your right leg in to the outside of your left hip. You can also do this with your right leg straight out in front of you if that's more comfortable. So right leg in, left hip or straight out, left foot to the outside of the right thigh or the top of the right thigh. And we'll you can hook your right arm around that left leg. You can bring that right arm to the top of that left thigh. I prefer it this way. So do whatever's best for you. We'll inhale, sit up nice and tall. Exhale, slowly twist that right shoulder towards that left knee or left wall. And then you could turn your head to look away over that left. Whew, did you hear that? A bunch of water. That left shoulder. So look over that left shoulder. As you inhale, sit up nice and tall. As you exhale, twist. We're just trying to warm up the spine a little bit, get that moving. And then as you exhale, starting from the top of your spine, which means your head, we'll unravel everything. Head, shoulders, torso, head, shoulders, knees and toes. We did unravel our knees and toes now. And so we'll switch it up here. So come out of that, bring the left foot to the outside of the right hip, or left leg can be straight out if that's more comfortable for you. Right foot to the top of the left thigh or outside of right thigh. Same thing with the arms. You have the option hooking around your knee or bringing the top of your arm to the top of your thigh, whichever works best for you. Sitting up nice and tall, we'll inhale. Exhale, we'll start our twist to the right this time, and we'll turn to look over our right shoulder. Again, inhale, sit up nice and tall. Exhale, if you can, maybe you'll twist a little bit deeper. I'm actually feeling a nice stretch in my right hip right now as well. And then as you exhale, starting from the top of your spine, turn your head back, your shoulders, your torso. Unravel those legs, and we'll come back to the neutral position. And now we'll get onto all fours and meet in a tabletop position. So swing those legs under, get up on those knees, clean off your mat. So we're going to plant our hands, make sure they're under your shoulders, so you want your hands to be about shoulder width apart. If you have wrist issues, you can also do this on your fists. That can be kind of weird. It can feel sort of strange, I find, but you can reap the same benefits. So, tops of the feet are planted on the ground. We do not want our toes tucked. And we'll do a few cat-cows here. So as we inhale, we'll tilt the pelvis, tuck it in towards the belly button, arch the back, drop the head. And then as we exhale, we'll release all those muscles, release the pelvis down, arch the back, and look up. And see that the rain has stopped. Inhale. And exhale. And you can do this at your own pace. And then once you're satisfied, we'll come into a nice neutral tabletop position again, and then you can wag your tail a little to the right and to the left, just loosening up your spine in a few different directions. And then from here, we're going to keep everything really grounded down, and this is where we're going to start our ab workout. Oh, the sun is even coming up. So from here, you're going to keep your head looking maybe just at the edge of your mat. You're going to really squeeze those abs in towards the spine. Squeeze it all in. And as we do this is a little bit of a balance pose. You can just do this with alternating legs and arms, or you can challenge yourself and do your legs and arms at the same time. You'll see what I mean in a second. So we'll inhale, really squeeze that all in, squeeze in the abs, squeeze in the core, and send that right leg out nice and long. And if this is the extent of your workout, this is all you can do, that's fine. But if you want a little bit more, press into your right hand, really push into those knuckles, and slowly you can bring your left hand up and straight. Ooh, I'm a little shaky today. And really push into that right arm. Don't let your shoulders collapse down. And we'll hold it for a few seconds. And you can release that hand down, release your knee down. Wiggle it out a little bit, and we'll do that on the other side. So again, squeeze in all those core muscles. This is a really active core pose. We'll send that left leg out long as we inhale, and then we'll bring the right arm up. And really pushing into that left hand, pushing into that right knee. If your knees are hurting, put a blanket under your knees. That can sometimes help. And we'll release down. We'll do that one more time for our friends who just did the legs or just did the arms here. Another alternate version of this, if you're really feeling adventurous, is to lift the same leg and arm. So you would lift your right leg and your right arm at the same time. It's super hard though. But if you want to try, why don't you do these next two like that? If not, you can do just the arms, or you can do the other same thing again with me, alternating arms and legs. So here, push into that left hand, push into that right knee, lift that left leg up, lift that right arm, really engage that core. Here I'm looking straight down just to keep my spine nice and long, but if it's comfortable, more comfortable for your neck to look somewhere else, that's fine. And we'll release down. And one more time on the other side, you can do this. Lift that right leg up, lift that left arm up, push into that right arm. Don't let those shoulders collapse. And we'll release down. Nice, good job. Maybe now you want to sit down, shake it out, enjoy that the sun has come out for your video to blind everyone. Alright, so from here we're going to come back and we're going to come up to a plank position. You'll notice I closed the blinds, so maybe it won't be so blinding anymore. But you can slide your hands out. We're going to do our check here. Make sure your hands, oh, there's a hair in my mat. Okay. Make sure your hands are shoulder width apart. You're going to want to tuck your toes and send them out nice and long. And this can be your workout if you really want. Just doing a plank, making sure your back isn't sagging. Keep that butt up if anything. If you get a little tired, come into downward facing dog. And we're just going to do a basic plank, which I know is not hard for everyone, but we will mix it up in a second. Alright, we'll release those knees down. If you found a plank a little hard, it might be worth it to do a plank on your knees. That's actually an option. Like this. There's a lot of variations of planks. I'll show you another version here, which many of you may already know. It's called chaturanga. You lift those knees, and this is super hard even for me, and you bend those elbows, and you really want to get that torso down nice and low, get your elbows like 90 degrees, and it is hard. But you can also do it on your knees if you so choose. So keep those toes off the ground, and you could do a little baby chaturanga. And then you could push on up. And that's really up to your own discretion which form of plank is the most accessible to you. So again, you guys can do just a normal plank here if you'd like, or if you want a little bit of an extra challenge, we'll come into plank and you can sort of lean your body to the left, open up, and come into a side plank, which will work a lot of the side of your body. Bring that right hand down, bring those toes down, and of course everything we do on one side, drop those knees, everything we do on one side we need to do on the other. So we'll come into a plank again, and this time we'll roll our body to the right side, lift that left arm up, and if you know, I'll switch sides so you can see, if you know much about planks and their variations, there's a lot of different ways you can do this with like one leg bent and all sorts of stuff. All right, release down. All right. So we're gonna give our arms a break now. I know they said this was a core workout, but sometimes you gotta get the arms involved to work the core. I always find these actually work my arms more than my core sometimes. So from here, we're going to come down on our backs. We're going to do some nice ground poses to release a little bit, and then we'll do a little bit more of an active pose, and then we'll chill out for the rest of this video. So we lie down flat on our backs, knees bent here, feet flat on the ground. Get nice and comfortable. Maybe you want to bring your knees into your chest. Relax for a second. Maybe you worked up a little bit of a sweat. Release those feet back. And now, just because we did use our core, it's always good to kind of loosen it up a little, I find. So if there's another pose that you prefer doing to loosen up your abs, that's absolutely fine, your whole core. But I really like doing reclined twists. So from here, we're going to let our knees just drop to the left side of our body. You can bring your right arm out straight to the right side and look to the right. And just sort of relax here. You can even have your left arm out in a T. I like to keep my left hand on my right thigh just to help coax it down a little bit. If you have trouble doing twists, you can put a block or a bolster or books or a blanket, anything, under your knees to kind of support that twist so you can relax. And we'll engage the core a little bit to bring those knees back up. And we'll do this on the other side. Let those knees flop to the right side of your body. Let that right arm go nice out nice and long. That left arm out. Your right arm can also be in a T shape, or you can have it on the top of your left thigh, and let your head drop to look to the left also. Alright, and from here we'll look back up, engage that core a little bit to bring those knees up. Push into those elbows to sit on up. Don't worry, you get to stay sitting for this next pose, but that doesn't mean it's gonna be easy. Okay. So if any of you know boat pose, it can be a very active pose. I always like to start with my heels planted on the ground and my toes up with my feet flexed. Sit up nice and tall. That's the first key thing I find in boat pose, is to really maintain that structural integrity in the top part of your body by sitting up super tall. We'll put our hands out straight, and as you lean back, you lift those heels off the ground. And if you keep your feet together, that's fine. You can also keep your feet about hip width apart. I've seen people put blocks between their knees. And then if you're up for even more of a challenge, you can straighten your legs. Whew. And some people get like really straight. They have a nice 90-degree angle. And if you have that, that's absolutely awesome. And if you straighten your legs, you could point your toes a little bit. I have super tight hamstrings, so straightening my legs is the weirdest experience. And from here, if you feel a little tired, set those toes down. Take a quick break. Inhale, bring it all up. You can also have your toes pointed if you're just in the bent knee version, actually. And you could actually even interlace your fingers and do little twists, dropping your right knee to the right ground if you can reach it. Right elbow, and then left elbow to the ground, and kind of go back and forth, while keeping your legs super steady and still. So you could do that a few times. And when you've done it the same amount on both times, we'll come back to our friends who are staying still, drop those toes down, let those feet relax and you can relax forward. So from there, we're gonna swing our legs again underneath us. Come into all fours. Plant those hands on the ground. Tuck the toes this time. You can walk your hands out a little. Shoulder width apart, knees are hip width apart, and we'll send our sit bones up into the air. Get a nice downward facing dog stretch. Maybe you'll want to paddle it out a little bit. Lean forward. Just relax for a minute in this pose. And if you can, come through a plank. You may need to drop your knees. Or you can just sweep all the way down, drop your torso on the ground. I'll scoot back a little so my head is on the mat. And you can drop your whole body on the ground. That'll give you a little bit extra of a core workout for today. Before we totally relax, we're going to do a few cobras here just to really stretch out nicely. I always like to start with these little baby cobras just to warm up the body a little bit. So we'll exhale. You can relax your head on the ground. Then as we inhale, push your thighs into the ground, really use that core, and you're gonna peel up like just a couple inches off the ground. And this is all a core workout actually. A really good test. See if you can lift both your hands off the ground. And then you're doing it right if you can do that. You may need a little bit of support from your hands, and that's okay. And then you relax down, release the head down as you exhale. This time we'll come into a full cobra, but keep those same muscles in mind that were helping you by pushing your feet into the ground, maybe using your buttocks a little bit, really using that core to peel your body on up. And as you inhale, slowly push up and come into a full cobra. And stretch out that core. Give it a little thank you for everything it just did. And you can release down. Maybe tuck your toes so you can push on up. Release your toes if you'd like. And we'll sit back on our heels. Send those arms out nice and long. You could place your forehead on the ground. You have a lot of options for arms here. So out straight and long, you could stack your hands one on top of the other and place your forehead on there. I'm a really big fan of having your arms relaxed alongside your body, but you don't have to do that. I know some people don't always like that. And we'll come into a nice relaxed child's pose. And when you're ready, on an inhale, slowly roll on up. Kick those legs out in front of you. Scoot on down, get comfortable. And we're about to start settling in for Shavasana. So if you would like to continue your practice, add a little bit more. Maybe if you're an advanced student, you'd like to have a longer practice and work your abs out more. Or maybe you want to try something else, do a more gentle practice, continue on in any way. Now is the perfect time to do that as this video draws to a close. And if you'd like that to be your practice for today, then just roll on down, relax. Let your body just feel heavy, sink down. Thank your core muscles. They're super important. They're very large muscles in our core, and they can help prevent a lot of injury sometimes. So thank you all for joining me in this practice today, and enjoy these last few minutes to relax and enjoy a Shavasana. Namaste.